Grandfather's here.
Can't you tell me I'm sick? He'll pinch my cheek. I hate that.
Maybe he won't.
Hey, how was the city? Huh? I brought you a special present.
What is it?
It was the book my father used to read to me when I was sick, and I used to read it to your father. And today, I'm going to read it to you.
It was a time when life didn't seem so complicated.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
What?
What?
I'm killing myself once we reach the honeymoon suite.
Wouldn't that be nice?
A courtly age of gentle conversation.
I will always come for you.
But how can you be sure?
This is true love.
Oh, no. Is this a kissing book?
No, actually, there was a lot of treachery, peril, and revenge.
Prepare to die.
Never go in against the Sicilian when death is on the line.
There were affairs of state.
And I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilda to frame for it. I'm swamped.
And affairs of the heart.
My Wesley will always come for me.
Your Wesley is dead.
I've seen worse.
Bye-bye, boy.
Have fun storming the castle.
It's more than turning. What's the difference? We've got him.
Think it'll wait?
It would take a miracle. Goodbye.
It's a story of love, a tale of adventure. It's as real as the feelings you feel.
We're kissing again.
Someday you may not mind so much.
The Princess Bride. Not just your basic, average, everyday, ordinary, run-of-the-mill, ho-hum fairy tale.
Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. Hope you can hear me. And I hope I'm in focus. Got a new camera, well, not a new camera, an old camera that I've moved about, and I'm trying something new. But before we start, let's have an intro. Right, I'm back. I've got a comment already. That music in the trailer is weak, says Wingrace. Yes, it does. Yes, it is. That trailer for The Princess Bride, just, if that doesn't show how crap the film is, then nothing will. I've watched it today. As I said last week during a stream that I didn't like The Princess Bride, and a lot of people love the film. I don't know why, and I'd never got all the way through it. So I watched it today, all the way through. I kept getting distracted, kept looking on my phone and stuff, and I don't know why people love it. I can't say I hate it. I just don't like it. Anyway, so what we're going to do is, like we do with Friday Night Appointment with Fear, I'm just going to go through the film, and we'll see how we go. That's what we're going to do. So hang on, let me get that up there. Right, so let's get the film up, and I will start talking about it. By the way, Princess Bride, directed by Rob Reiner, son of Carl Reiner, another famous director, screenwriter, and had a $16 million budget. Did okay. Didn't, it wasn't a blockbuster success. Came out in 1987. Stars Carrie Elwes. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I've never heard it said out loud. I've only seen his name in print. Never heard anybody say it out loud. But I say Carrie Elwes, but I don't know. Well, you may know from Saw. You were in Saw and other things. I think Robin Hood, Men in Tights. A film I've never seen. And other things. What else? I mean, whom else? Robin Wright is in it as well. She plays Princess Buttercup, or Buttercup, whatever. More famously known as Robin Wright Penn, I think. I think it's the same person, isn't it? Well, you may know from Wonder Woman and other stuff. And it's got Mandy Patinkin, who will always be San Francisco to me from Alien Nation. I know he's done loads of other stuff. Who else? Andre the Giant, he's in it. And Wallace Shawn, who is Grand Nagus Zek for me from Deep Space Nine, the Ferengi leader. Who else? And who else have we got? We've got Chris Sarandon, Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. He plays the bad guy. And Christopher Guest from Spinal Tap. He's another bad guy with 6 fingers on that hand. Yes, it's also got Carol Kane. Hang on. There you go. Also got Carol Kane, who plays the new chief engineer on Strange New Worlds, but you may also know her from Scrooged and other stuff as well. She was in Gotham, wasn't she? She played Penguin's mother, I think. Yes, she played Penguin's mother in Joker. Not in Joker, in Gotham. But she's been in loads of other stuff as well. Is that it? Have I got everybody? Everybody of note? Can't think of anybody else. Oh, Mel Smith. Who, if you're British, you know from not the 9 o'clock news and Alas Smith and Jones, famous comedy, comedian and comedy actor. And I can't think of anybody else. So, right. So, I will make myself small. There I go. By the way, I don't have to get rid of these black lines at the side because I'm using a different camera. I'm using my DSLR. I've got a Canon DSLR that I wasn't using for taking pictures. So I thought I'll try and use it and improve the quality of my image, of my image. I can't get rid of these black lines here, these black bars. Where's my other hand? Oh, it's there. Hang on, where am I? There we go. These black bars on the left and right. I don't know how to do it. But no matter what I do, I can't get rid of them. But never mind. Never mind, it's not really a problem. Right, let's get the film up. Let's get it up, and we're on full screen, and so I can now go to that. Right, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. For some reason, it says Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer there, but on that trailer, it said 20th Century Fox. Who the hell made this film? Right, so hang on, are we going? There we go. Hang on, what's happening? There we go. We're off and running. Right, Act 3 Communications presents. Right, so we now say, Fred Savage. Yes, Fred Savage. Yes, Columbo and Fred Savage. Yes, of course. Hang on. Windgrace has reminded me of that. How can I remember the first 2 people? Nearly the first 2 people we see in the film. See Peter Falk playing Peter Falk because that's all he can do. I love Columbo. It's brilliant. And Fred Savage. Was this before or after the Wonder Years? I don't know. But it kind of reminds me of a young, I forgot his name, Orville fella, Seth Thingamabobs. Also, it reminds me of him, a young version of him for some reason. Must be the hair and the eyeliner. Anyway, we see a young Fred Savage is, is sick in bed playing a state-of-the-art baseball game on something or other. His mum comes in and says, how you feeling? I'm a bit better. I'm going to hate this film. No, I don't hate it. But then his granddad's coming. By the way, it must be nearly Christmas because she opened the curtains and we could see we're all snowy outside. And some of the houses had like Christmas lights on. So I'm guessing it's nearly Christmas. Windgrace is giving us information again. Wonder Years ran from 1988 to 1993, so they probably filmed this and season 1 around the same time. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Windgrace knows everything. He's like an oracle. He's the internet oracle. He's Windgrace. Go follow his YouTube channel. And he buys loads of comics as well. Right, where were we? Got to go back over here. There we go. So we find out his granddad's arriving. We never see Dad. Is he around? Don't know. But granddad's arriving. It says, can't you tell him I'm ill? He always pinches my face. So he comes in and pinches his face, as you saw in the trailer. There he is. For some reason, I always get this mixed up with Never-Ending Story. So I'm thinking, hang on, isn't Peter Falk telling the story, Never-Ending Story? But no, he ain't, is he? No, I'm getting my movies mixed up. I'm getting to that age. So here we go. So he's going to tell him the story of the Princess Bride. I don't know. Is that what it says on that book? Does that say the Princess Bride? I can't actually see. Yes, I think it does. I think it does. By the way, I did buy this film, you know, just to watch it. I didn't buy it on DVD, obviously, but I bought it on Amazon Video, Amazon Prime Video. I bought it $3.99. It cost me, bloody hell, just so I could watch it. And I didn't even like the bugger. Anyway, right. So I was going to read him this book. He says his dad used to read it to him, and he used to read it to Fred Savage's dad. Don't ask me the names of the characters. I don't know if they've got any names. I don't know. These two, anyway. So now he's going to read it to him, The Princess Bride. By the way, it's based on a book by William Goldsman, something like that. Hang on, I can tell you, can't I? I've got my information here. Based on the book by William Goldman, from his 1973 novel of the same name. But then it says something else during the actual film. Yeah, S. Morgenstern, based on The Princess Bride, S. Morgenstern's classic tale of true love and high adventure, the Good Parts version. Oh, by William Goldman. Oh, right. Is that the name of the original book? Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Where were we? Right. Off we go again. What are you doing? Back to full screen again, you silly sod. Right, so he's off to read him this book. So he starts off. There we go. We start off in this fantasy land where Australia exists and Spain. It seems to be set in the Middle Ages, yet there's no Australia there. And Patagonia. But anyway, never mind that. So we found out about this young girl that lives on a farm called Buttercup. You know, she's the daughter of the owner of the farm. And there's a chap that works on the farm, a farm boy called Westley, played by Carrie Elwes. The girl is Robin Wright. She's called Buttercup. He's called Westley, but she never calls him that. She always calls him farm boy. And she keeps telling him to do stuff. And he keeps saying, as you wish, and which they say in the film translates to, I love you. Whatever. There we go. This is her doing all that. And then she eventually falls in love with him because he's Carrie Elwes, Westley. So anyway, they eventually fall in love. They're both, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed, a bit Aryan. Never mind. They fall in love, and then they have a kiss. And then Fred Savage interrupts and says, "Oh, it's not going to be one of them sort of stories, is it?" No. So, should they give him a slap and say, "Shut up, I'm reading to you"? So they fall in love. And then he buggers off to find his fortune. And then she learns that he's being killed by a pirate whose name I've forgotten. Hang on. Dread Pirate Roberts. This is supposed to have been killed by Dread Pirate Roberts. So she's unhappy about that, and she goes back home. We never see her parents. So she goes back home and doesn't eat or drink or sleep for days. I presume it's, you know, less than 3 days. Because then she'd die, wouldn't she? But anyway, years pass. I think they say 5 years. By the way, no notes, as usual. I'm going from memory here. This is the first time I've seen it all the way through, so I'll probably get a lot of things wrong. But I don't care because I didn't like it. Is it a comedy? Is it an adventure? Is it all of them? I don't know, because I didn't. The only thing I laughed at, well, I'll tell you when we get to it. The rest of it, I thought, it's not doing any of these things, but never mind. Anyway, the prince, Prince Humperdinck, is he related to Engelbert? I've no idea. Prince Humperdinck has decided he's going to get married to Buttercup. And there we saw, there's the king. Doddery old bugger, and there's his wife, the Queen, and this is somebody else, Christopher Guest, playing the bad guy, the fellow with 6 fingers, Rugen, Count Tyrone Rugen. There he is. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong bloody buttons. I'm useless. All right, pause, you sod. So he's declared that he's going to marry. By the way, the 6 fingers on his right hand. There we go. is important later on. So he's decided he's going to marry Buttercup because apparently he must be able to just go and pick somebody in a weird part of what they call it, like they did in Braveheart, some Nocta thing, which wasn't real apparently, but must be like that. Oh, hang on, Windgrace is saying something again. The whole part was spoofed in Shrek, which I think did it better, but don't tell anyone. Oh, sorry, I've just told everybody. Sorry. Oh dear. Right, where were we? Right. So out she comes, ready to be his bride. Here she is. There's a bit later on. They repeat this later on, and apparently it's a dream sequence later. And I was like, what? But yes, Shrek. Shrek did this better, didn't it? Shrek did everything that's in this better. Because I love Shrek. Because Shrek is genuinely funny. This isn't. So she comes out, and she's not happy. So she's agreed to marry him. I don't think she had much choice in the matter. But she's not happy. She doesn't love him. And the only thing she likes is going out for her rides on her horse. There she goes, galloping off into the woods. It must be approaching autumn because we've got some nice russet leaves on the floor, or on the ground even. Yet we still have leaves on the trees. So it must be approaching autumn. What shall we say? September, October? Maybe that time of year. Then she comes across this trio. Wallace Shawn. Don't ask me that. I can't remember the names. I know him, Inigo Montoya. He's Viz somebody or other. Vizini and Andre the Giant is Fezzik. There we go. Fezzik. So we've got I forgot already. Vizini. Inigo Montoya. And Fezzik. And you know, if they remade this, if this were remade in like the 90s, early aughts, that would have been Antonio Banderas, wouldn't it? In the middle. Anyway. Right, where were we? So she encounters these, and then the kidnapper, basically. Kidnapper, and then I can't remember his name. Wallace Shawn. Zek. I'll call him Zek for the rest of the film. Zek ties a scrap of cloth from wherever the name of the place is, enemy, an enemy soldier of wherever they live. I don't know the name. Filoni comes into my head, but it's not that because that's Dave Filoni from Star Wars, isn't it? But wherever, it begins with F. And sends the horse back, so they think she's being kidnapped by, the enemy soldiers. They're trying to start a war. That's what he says, does Zek. Meanwhile, Andre the Giant carries her on board. I'm sure is there like stories about how difficult he is to work with, or with whom to work, whatever the grammar is. Andre the Giant. I don't know, because apparently he was a bit tricky to work with. He had lots of problems and could lose his temper quite easily, apparently. But anyway, right. So off they go in their boat. Zek is not a nice person, and thankfully he's not in it all the way through. Zek is, a proper bad guy, but obviously Montoya and Fezzik are, nice people. Nice people. Scoundrels, but nice. But Zek isn't. And also Rex in Toy Story, wasn't he? Anyway, so off they go. He keeps telling them that they're going to kill her, and they're saying, "No, we didn't tell anybody about killing people." Blah 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 blah. Right, go on, off we go. Right, and the nice ship they've got, isn't it? Even though is that classed as a ship or a boat? It's like in between, isn't it? I mean, it's got a crow's nest. But anyway, off it goes down the river. It's weird, isn't it? It's like an in between. It's like a boat version of an RV sort of thing. It's like a Winnebago. Anyway, Montoya. I never say that. I always think of motor racing because I used to be into Formula One, and there were a Montoya, wasn't there? But one of those, a motor racing chap But anyway, he keeps looking behind, and we find out that they're being followed by a ship. This is where we learn his catchphrase. Zek, he keeps going, inconceivable. But then we learn that as they're looking at the ship that's following them, which turns out to be Wesley. Spoilers. There's going to be a lot of spoilers. Turns out to be Wesley as Dread Pirate Roberts, whatever the hell he's called. Anyway, while they're doing that, she jumps overboard, but they're in the river of the screaming eels or something, some such thing. I don't know. And then so the eels start swimming round her. He's not impressed. Going to carry on. There you go. Andre the Giant just plucks her out of the water before the eels get her. She must weigh nothing because people keep picking her up with one hand in this film. Well, it happens twice, at least what I've seen. What I noticed. But anyway, there you go. She's soon dried off. In you go in the background, being a heavy metal star. He should have a guitar in his hands there, shouldn't he? Can you see my mouse pointer? There he is. I am Inigo Montoya. Prepare to die. Ding. But anyway, whatever. I'm just trying to make the film better. So they get to this sheer cliff face, and they're going to go climbing up it. Still with Dread Pirate Roberts in pursuit. So off they go up this incredibly thick rope. It's like one of those ropes you see at the gym, that you do that way. It's like one of those. Anyway, so they go up. They all hang on to Andre the Giant. Sorry, Fezzik. And up he goes really quickly. I'll see if I can show you. I'll just show you. I mean, look, hand over hand. Look, not even using his feet. Off he goes. So anyway, Wesley. Sorry, spoilers. Dread Pirate Roberts is in pursuit. He starts climbing as well, and see if we can land on him. And he's climbing really quickly as well. Come on, there we go. Up he goes, look, hand over hand. He's not having any problems either climbing up that rope until he doesn't need, to be able to climb. But I wouldn't have got like 3. I was always rubbish at the rope in school. I couldn't get very high. I think I once got nearly to the top and then got scared and I couldn't get back down again. But I did, obviously. So then they get to the top, and Wally Shawn goes and cuts the rope, and they think he's fallen, but he ain't. He's hanging on there with. I must admit, there is nice matte paintings and stuff. It is a well-made film. It is a very well-made film. I just didn't like it. So he's hanging there. So Zek tells Montoya to kill him, and. So of course, then catch up because they're going to carry on, and they're going to carry on. And Montoya's to kill Wesley and catch up with them. That's what I'm trying to get at. So that's what's going to happen next. And then we have a bit of a sword fight in a minute when they've done talking. We just have a little chat, and we learn that he's an honourable man. Is Montoya. So he says, he'll let him climb up, and then he's got to kill him. He's sorry about it and all that, old chap, but in a Spanish accent. So he lowers a rope down to him, and then we can see, it's Wesley, isn't it? It's not Dread Pirate Roberts or somebody else. It's Wesley. So there's no point trying to lie. I mean, they don't know, I know, but we know as the audience. Oh. There you go. So he lowers the rope down, the big, thick gym rope, and suddenly he's struggling to climb up. He will go in hand over hand bloody early 5 minutes ago. I mean, yeah, Matt, I got tired, but crikey, But suddenly he's got to pull him up, and then he gives him a chance to have a rest and have a little chat. And he tells him all about his sword and that he's on a quest for revenge against a six-fingered man. Six-fingered man. Who killed his father. His father was a sword maker, and this six-fingered chap came in, ordered the sword that we're looking at there, and ordered that sword. And then when he came to pick it up, just wanted to pay him a tenth of what was promised. His father said no, so the six-fingered man killed him, and then Montoya, at only 11 years old, tried to avenge his father immediately, but was given scars and stuff, and left by this six-fingered chap, who we learn is, Count Rugen, or whatever the hell it's called, Christopher Guest. Anyway, so they have this little chat about that. And there he goes, showing him his sword. He just gives him it and just gives him it back because they're honourable people. Stupid. But anyway, they have a nice little sword fight there, showing his scars that he was given. 11. I've got a scar on my thumb that I give myself when I was about 11 with a penknife, and it's still there all these years later. Not as prominent as his scars. So I'm not out on revenge. Where were we? So they have a nice little, a little sword fight. It's all right. It's nicely choreographed, I suppose. Anyway, off they go, and they're both fighting left-handed. By the way, they're both southpaws or pretending to be, and then they decide to go right-handed. Montoya is defeated by Westley, even though he's been practicing his swordplay for, I don't know, 19 years or whatever, 20 years. But he's defeated by Wesley. There you go. Wesley knocks him out and sets off after Buttercup and Zek. Zek takes Buttercup and tells Fezzik to pick up a rock, wait for Dread Pirate Roberts to come round the corner, then he's going to bash his head and kill him. So there we go. By the way, we learn that Zek's whole plot is to start a war between, this country and another one. That was his plot, and we learned that he was hired by Prince Humperdinck, Humperdinck, to do that. Right. So anyway, so here we go. So Humperdinck, Westley and Fezzik have a bit of a fight. As we see, and Westley bests him just by basically getting him in a sleeper hold, as we see. There we go, gets him in a sleeper hold, and he ends up asleep on the floor. So off he goes in pursuit of Buttercup, his love. But he doesn't, he doesn't tell her that he's actually not very nice to her when he catches up with her, but never mind. Meanwhile, Prince Humperdinck is obviously out looking for Buttercup, and then so he finds out he's obviously a pretty good tracker because he learns all from these footprints that a fight happened, and he goes through. He's better than Columbo at working all this out. So they're setting off after Buttercup, etc. But obviously Montoya must have come round because they don't mention him. He must have come round and set off. Obviously, there's been a passage of time. Let's just make sure we're still going, by the way. Are we still streaming? Are we still streaming? Yes. Excellent connection there. Yes, we're still off there. And yes, we're off there. By the way, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Rumble, and we're live on Twitch. Just thought I'd say that. Right, where were we? And if I see him a bit bubbly, don't be fooled. I'm actually not in a very good mood. It's all a front. But anyway, not because of this, for something else. Right, so they're setting off. Right, so we come across Zek. I know that's not his name. I can never remember it. Is it Vizini or Viniz? I can't remember. I'll check again. Vizini. Why can't I remember that? Because I'm an idiot, that's why. Right, so it's caught up with them. He's blindfolded. I don't know why he's blindfolded. Oh no, he just has. He's blindfolded Buttercup. He's got a knife to her throat, and he's having a nice little picnic on a rock, complete with a tablecloth. So his cat's caught up, look, and decide to have a battle of wits. So he's beaten Montoya at swordplay. He's overpowered the giant. And now he's going to have a battle of wits because he's the clever one, he's Vizzini. He's going to have a battle of wits with him. So he's going to sit down and they're going to drink this wine. And there we go. And then going to drink this wine, but it's going to be poisoned because he produces a vial of poison. He calls it something, I can't remember. And he's going to put it in one of the drinks. So he takes the drinks. There we go. And pours the poison into one of them. And puts them back. And then Vizzini has to decide which one, pardon me, to drink from. And he keeps calling him a glass. He says, raise my glass or whatever, drink from this glass. And you can see they're not bloody glasses, they're goblets. Stupid film. Anyway, so there we go. So it goes through all this, mental gymnastics. I'd pick the one nearest you, but then you'd know I'd pick the one, nearest me, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh, look, Elvis Presley. He doesn't say that, he says something else. And while Wesley looks away, he switches the goblets round, and then he drinks, and then dies. He dies. This is it. This is the end of Vizzini. He's dead because it's a deadly poison. By the way, they both drink from their goblets. They're not glasses, they're goblets. And then he just dies, and that's it. That's the end of him because he was a baddie. Do that in the 80s, just kill people on film. So he rescues her. We find in his Humperdinck has caught up with where Fezzik was. These must have come round and toddled off. They keep arriving after the fact, but they're off going across the countryside. I don't know where it was filmed. Somewhere nice. I don't know. Probably somewhere in Europe. It looks European. I don't know where. Shall we have a look? See if it says on good old Wikipedia, filming, right. We're filmed in Sheffield, which is not far from here. Buckinghamshire, so we filmed in England. Derbyshire, an island for the Cliffs of Insanity. That's the cliffs they climbed up. And Kent. So there we go. So we filmed in England, and it thingamabob's studio bits were filmed at Shepperton Studios. There we go. Anyway, right, where were we? So they're having a back and forth, and I think he's telling us the Dread Pirate Roberts. I can't actually remember. I don't care. Then he threatens to hit her. He doesn't. He's like raises his hand to give her a backhander, but he doesn't. He says, next time you'll get one. You'll learn how women are treated, and by Dread Pirate Roberts or whatever. I thought, yeah, very nice. Because he's jealous, apparently. He's jealous because she's decided to marry this knob. Even though he had no choice, she had no choice. But anyway, meanwhile, Humperdinck has found this poison thing, and he says, "Oh, it's such and such." By the way, we found that he'd put the poison in both goblets, but he had built up an immunity to the poison. Had Wesley, thankfully. So there we go. There we go. Now you see, there's you can't see it's behind me. Never mind. Behind my behind me there's what's his face? Zek, Wally Shawn, Vizzini. I don't know what his bloody name is. He's dead. He's out of it now. So there we go. So I was wondering actually. I thought, is he dead? Has he killed him? Or has he just knocked him out? And then we learn later on in the film that yes, he actually is dead. Yeah. Right, so they're toddling off across the countryside. They're still having words. She doesn't know who he is. She doesn't recognise him. She keeps saying she doesn't love Humperdinck. She loves, her love was killed by the Dread Pirate Roberts, or you killed my love, or whatever. And then they were a farm boy, and he goes on about it. He doesn't own up to her. but then they stood at the edge of a rolling hill. There we go. And she pushes him off. And as he's rolling down, he goes, "As you wish." And then she realizes instantly, as he's saying that, oh, Wesley, what have I done? So she goes rolling after him. Oh, stupid bloody film. I think they are doing the cheese rolling thing. That's a thing in England. I think that might be in Derbyshire, where they do a cheese rolling competition, where they roll a big wheel of cheese down a hill. People run after it, breaking bones and all sorts. Just to, win. The first one to the bottom, who isn't dead, presumably wins the wheel of cheese and the accolade of, I am the best at falling down a hill. Anyway, they do that. There they are, and they're okay, but then they are, reunited now, all in love and kissing and all that crap. There we go. Meanwhile, he's having a sandwich. Is Fred Savage, and old Columbo's having a drink of tea. I bet there's some whiskey or something in that. Anyway, it's off they go. If they go into the swamp of fire or fire swamp or whatever the hell it's called. It looks a bit like Dagobah. And I was watching it, I was thinking, I'd have thought there'd been a bit more fire, but we do find some. We do get a bit of fire in a moment because it sets her dress on fire. In a minute. There we go. So he puts it out with his bare hands, makes a bit of a meal of it, but she's fine. Then it works out when the fire will appear because it makes a noise and then comes out. It's stupid. They keep going through. This is obviously on a set somewhere. Like I say, I bet Yoda's somewhere about. It's been there since 1980. I'm lying, it hasn't. But this will be at Shepperton. I imagine this is at Shepperton Studios. I can't imagine it being an actual location. It doesn't look like it. Anyway, so going through, and then she falls into this quicksandy type thing. This just disappears into this sand. So he cuts a branch, vine, whatever, goes in after her. Let me see a man in a rat suit in a minute. There he is. What are these things? I don't know. They call them something. Rats of unnatural size or something. Rodents of unnatural size. Or whatever. Look, they're just men in rat suits. They look crap. So, anyways, out they come. He saved her. So, if they don't notice, there we go. They're being watched by these rodents of unnatural size, but they appear not to notice them. And she says, I think she says something along the lines of, "We've beaten we've worked out the fire, we've worked out the sand thing. We've only got to work out, we haven't come across the rodents, the ROUSs," she says, or something like that. Rodents of unnatural size. And then they all arrive. I think they'll start getting. There we go. One arrives, so it's to fight it. And she's fighting it. And then he throws it into the fire. One of these fire things about to pop up. So he throws it into the fire. And it gets injured. And then it's sort of like lying there or standing there in pain. So he just then stabs it to death several times. Because it's the 80s and you could do that stuff in those days. Peter, probably not on the set at the time, even though it was a fella in a rat suit. They're still kicked off. Right, so they've got through the swamp of fire, but Humperdinck's caught up with them, and so has Christopher Guest. Nigel Tufnell. I'm trying to think of his name. Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap. I think it's none more black. And does it go up to 11? Where were we? So he congratulates them on making through the swamp, but they've obviously just gone round it. They mustn't have gone through it. There's obviously an easier path that they've gone. But yes, they're on horses. Maybe they were quicker. But not everybody's on horses. Look, there's soldiers appearing with crossbows and stuff. And she says, "I'll go back with you if you let Wesley go. let Dread Pirate Roberts go, whatever. And he agrees to that. So she's going to go back with him. But then he whispers to Nigel Tufnell, when we're out of sight, take him to the pit of despair, or whatever the hell they call it. It's like a dungeon. So that's what they're going to do. So off she goes with Humperdinck. And off to there we go, the pit of despair. I think it's the pit of despair, something like that, isn't it? I'll just check. Where are we? Plot. Where's the plot? Hey, Dread Pirate Roberts. Yes, the pit of despair. Crikey, I remembered it. Right. So this is where we meet Mel Smith as the albino. Sorry, as you'd say in America, the albino. So he's here. He's tending to Wesley's wounds, and we learn that Rugen and Humperdinck. We learn that they like their victims to be healthy as they torture them. And oh, hello, Joshua. Joshua's arrived. That stupid YouTube didn't give me a notification, and I only have 3 set to do them. All right, okay. I don't know. YouTube baffles me. Everything baffles me. I'm surprised this is working at all. But anyway, welcome. I'm doing Princess Bride, and we're about, I don't know how far through we are. About halfway now, aren't we? Something like that. There we go. This is Mel Smith. Tending to, he's a baddie, but he's tending to, what's his face? Wesley's wounds. Right. So it's tied down, by the way. It's tied down, is Wesley. So this is, but then we go back to the castle. And then I think this is where we learn his dastardly plan. He's not going to marry her. Well, he is going to marry her, Buttercup, but then he's going to kill her and blame it on this other country, the one that he wants war with. When he becomes king, he's going to declare war, etc. It's all part of his, insidious plan. But she doesn't hear him. Right, this is where now he's saying, your new queen, Buttercup, the king has died, apparently. But he hasn't. It's a dream sequence. And there he is. He's become king now. He's got his crown on. And his mother's looking at him shiftily. She doesn't like him, you can tell. So he's saying, hang on, what's going on here? Why isn't Humperdinck, somebody's going to kill Humperdinck, blah, blah, blah. And Columbo says, no, nobody's going to kill him. Let me finish the story, little brat. Give me a backhander. He carries on. Right, so the king is dead. He's the king. Now he's introducing the crowd to Queen Buttercup. And here she comes. And this old lady just starts going, boo, boo. You're an horrible person, and you're no queen of mine. Probably a bit like what happened when King Charles III was crowned last weekend. There were probably a few people like that in the crowd. But they wouldn't have got to be so vocal because they'll have been arrested and carted off, like people were, because we live in a free country, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So she's not happy about that, and she's, oh, why do you hate me and all that? And then she wakes up. It was all a dream. And the king's not dead. There is still 10 days until the wedding. So she decides she goes and tells him. She goes to tell Humperdinck, Engelbert. I wonder if that is his first name. She goes to tell him that she's not going to marry him, and if forces her to do it, she'll kill herself. She keeps threatening to kill herself. She's got suicidal tendencies. And he says, well, okay, the wedding's off. What I'll do, I will send 3 of my ships to look for Dread Pirate Roberts and get him to come back and collect you, and you can go and live happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. But obviously he's not going to do that, really. But she says, okay. And we learn that he wants he wants Rugen to set up a brute squad to clear out the forest of people for some reason. That's what he's going to do. But meanwhile, they've arrived at the pit of despair, which is in a tree of all places. There's a particular button that they have to press to go down the tree. There must be a ladder or something in there. I don't know. It doesn't show us, but they just go in. And they end up in the dungeon. There they are. Anyways, Rugen has made a machine that makes no sense whatsoever. So he's hooked up Wesley to this machine, and it uses water. But I thought, is it generating electricity and he's electrocuting him? No, he's not. He's sucking the life out of him. Don't know how, but he just is. At first I thought he was doing it like some, what they call it. They use those suction things, like Chinese medicine thing where the suction. I thought we were going to end up with all these little red circles on him and going, I feel better. But no, he isn't. He's sucking the life out of him. A bit like a wraith in Stargate Atlantis. He's doing that. He's taking years off him because he's got a dial that he uses. He can just make it out there. And he moves it, up one to take a year away. He says, I've taken a year of your life. So he must have worked out, this gauge, how accurate it is on previous people, I presume. But it goes up to 50. But, he just does one, takes a year off him. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So he does that because it's stupid. This is where he's telling this fella to go clear out the village. She comes in, and don't know what she says because I can't remember. Never mind, it's not important. So we glossed over it. This is where they're clearing out the villagers in the forest, taking the people away. Don't know where they're putting them. Then we see Montoya's in the tavern, drunk, and apparently this is where Zek found him and employed him. Where they went on their quest to start this war at the beginning, and kidnap the Buttercup, and he went to see Vizini. That's it. Went to see if Vizini had turned up there, because that's where it all began. Anyway, this soldier from the Brute Squad is going to kill. Yeah, whatever. Is going to kill Montoya, but thankfully, his face. There we go. Fezzik turns up. There we go. What's this? Princess Bride is my all-time favourite movie. Oh, that's another one. Another one I've not seen all the way through. Ferris Bueller. I'll add it to my list. And Empire Strikes Back, which of course I've seen. Yes, I'll have to add Ferris Bueller's Day Off to my list. I've not seen that all the way through either. But anyway, it's not my favourite film. I'll tell you that for note. Anyway, Fezzik's turned up, so he dispatches this fella quickly and tries to give some stew to Montoya to sober him up, and then he dunks him in some water. Tells him about Vizini's death. So Vizini's death. Bow down, the Queen of Putres. Yeah, okay. Did they say that in the film? I don't know. I can't remember. There you go. He's bringing him round. So there we go. So he's sober now. So he's got to think of a plan to get into the castle. But apparently there's 30 guards on the gate, which ends up being 60. But he's got to find a way in to get to Rugen. I don't know how he knows about Rugen, the six-fingered man. I don't know. He just says, I know he's there, and I know where the man who killed my father's there. Anyway. But he says, I need the man in black, Wesley. He says, he can help me get in because he's clever. So they're going to try and get Wesley back, but they don't know where he is. But they find out soon enough. This is where she finds out that he's lied to her and he hasn't really sent any ships to go and get Wesley for her. So she says, you're a liar. And so she's going to go and kill herself. he says, "All right, look, just hold on a bit, and and I'll send the message, and if it doesn't come, still marry me." And she goes, "Yeah, all right then." But she's still threatening to kill herself because she's must be a cry for help, as they say. So there we go. Anyway, so then we're back down with Wesley in the pit of despair. All right, so Humperdinck's arrived. He's gonna drain all the life. Oh, look, it looks evil, doesn't it? He's gonna drain all the life from Wesley. And as you can see there, it goes all the way up to 50. It can take 50 years off him. So that's what he's going to do. There it goes all the way up to 50. And even Rugen says, "No, not 50. He goes, should go all the way up to 11, really, shouldn't it? Usually they go up to 10, but this one goes up to 11. That's what it should do, shouldn't it? But it doesn't. So it takes 50 years off him, and essentially he's dead, but not quite dead, but they keep calling him dead. Joshua says Fezzik caught him up on everything. Well, yeah, but how did Fezzik know that that Rugen was the fellow that killed Montoya's dad? Did Wesley tell him while they were fighting him? I can't actually remember. I don't know. Anyway, right, what's going on here now? They're guarding the gate, the 60 men. So they've got to come up with this plan to go and save Wesley. They come across Mel Smith in the woods, and I think they kill him, but I'm not quite sure. He bops him on the head, and I think he's killed him, but I'm not 100% certain. So he uses his sword, and he calls out to his father's spirit to which direction to go, and just happens to. Was it his father's spirit? I don't know, but it hits the button that opens the door in the tree. They just happen to be there. So down they go. They find Wesley, and he's dead. He says, "Oh, crack, you can't say he's dead." Blah blah. Get off. We're not bothered about this bit, are we? Why we're going to stop reading it? Then he says, "No, I'll carry on." So anyway, the fact that he's dead apparently is. I always figured the albino's just. I don't know. They said they hid him, didn't they? Fezzik said he hid him under the barrow that he were pushing. I don't know. But does that mean he hid his dead body or just his unconscious body? I don't know. They kill people in this film. They killed Vizzini. Why didn't they? They could have killed the albino as well. Anyway, they take the dead body to the miracle man, something like that. Hang on, I'll check the thing. Miracle Max. That's it. Miracle Max. Miracle Max. Unbelievable. So they take him to Miracle Max's shack. There he is. It's Billy Crystal. We all know it's Billy Crystal. So they goes in and they have, japes and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And he says, give him 65 quatloos or whatever. And uses some bellows to try and bring him back to life, but that doesn't work. And he says he can't help them. Then Carol Kane appears. I don't know why they look like this. Are they just supposed to be old, or are they supposed to be? Has something happened to them? I don't know. Anyway, always look like Newt. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Hang on, we'll share that one. Yes. Oh, well, yes, it does look like Brent Spiner in his Noonien Sung makeup from was it Brothers? That episode Brothers. I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was. But anyway, so she gets him to change his mind. So he says he can't help him, but then he can. So he makes some sort of pill coated in chocolate. I don't know what it is, but it's coated in chocolate that'll bring him back to life because he says he's only nearly dead. There we go. There's the whatever it is coated in chocolate, and it'll bring him back to life in 15 minutes or something. I don't know. So they take him and then, oh, bye, you know, whatever. That's their cameo over with. You know, they had them for a day probably. Oh, and then with this here with the wobbly wall. Did you notice this when you were watching it? See if we can see it in a minute. When he comes round, they give him the chocolate coated conker or whatever it is, and he comes round. You can see it. But they lift him up, and if you watch the wall, it's supposed to be a stone wall. It bloody moves. Look, hang on, you ready? Right, here we go. Look at it moving. Look, it's a $16 million budget. Today it would have been a suppository. Yeah. Yes, they're supposed to be old. Look, he's Joshua's defending the film. He's the lawyer for the defense. Oh dear. Yes, it would have been a suppository. Fezzik is pretty strong. He is, yes. Well, he is Andre the Giant. After all. Anyway, comes round, but he can't move, so they keep having to lift his head up and stuff. But he can talk. So they're going to use him to have a weird plan to get in, but you know, it gives them this idea. But they have this long talk first. Get past these 60 men. Says if we only had a cloak of something or other. I'll check. I'll check in the plot. I forgot a cloak of something. Where are we? Does it say? No, it doesn't say. It's got a cloak of, I don't know, infinity. I don't know. I can't remember what it is. A cloak of something or other. And he just happens to have one because he got it off Miracle Max. Did Fezzik. So they're going to have to prepare for their breach of the castle. Anyway, meanwhile, she's decided, you know, they're going ahead with the wedding. Holocaust cloak, yes, that's it. Yeah, I know you'd know. I've only seen it once. So she's but she's I'm still gonna kill myself. Oh, shut up, woman. Just do it then. Meanwhile, there's 60 men there. Have they whittled them down a bit? I don't know. But then oh, here we go. This is the bit of the film that actually made me laugh. Cloak of the HMS Bounty. No, not that sort of cloak. This bit made me laugh with good old Peter Cook. Didn't mention him earlier on. Peter Cook in this, doing his marriage. That made me laugh. It's the only bit in the film that I did laugh at. But there he is. Oh, audio, never mind. But yeah, he's doing that. So he's going through the vows, but then what the hell's a Holocaust cloak? I don't know. But he's got a Holocaust cloak on, and it's Andre, Fezzik, on a barrow. They're just wheeling him in. So he's not tall enough already. They've got to wheel him in to make him a bit more tall. And then he's saying he is the Dread Pirate Roberts. And then they set him on fire, and he seems fine. He seems fine. And they're all like, I don't know what to do. Then just kind of, do they run off? I don't know what happens. Look, are they all just running off? I think they are, aren't they? They're all just running off, leaving the fella in charge there with the key. He's got the key. It mentioned this earlier. I have the only key. So they get to him. Fezzik, not in the slightest bit burnt, but whatever. Gets to the portcullis, stops it from going down. Get the key off him. By the way, old Humperdinck's telling Peter Cook to speed it up a bit, get to the end. So he's speeding it up, which is important, for the vows and all that. But never mind. And that's how he's saying that. Right, so anyway, they get in and they're threatening to kill this fellow with the key, and he gives them the key, so they get in. As you can see, Wesley still can't walk properly. It's kind of coming back a bit, but not entirely. Fezzik's carrying him pretty much. So Montoya takes care of these guards pretty quickly, dispatches those, and then another amusing bit. Yeah, I did smile where he just runs off. Hang on, there we go. Says, I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And then he runs off. So I did laugh at that. So anyway, goes running after him. There's Montoya. So he leaves. He props up Wesley on a suit of armor because Fezzik needs to bash down a door that's locked. So there you go. Oh, they were found out that the wedding's over. She thinks they're married. Turns out they're not married because she didn't say I do because they skipped that bit. But whatever. This is the king being a doddery old fart. Right, so we have a final fight with Rugen and Montoya, but he throws a knife at him and hits him right in the gut, so he's injured. And then he's fighting and stabbing him and all this stuff. She's going to kill herself, obviously. There we go. She's ready to kill herself. But then Wesley says, there's a shortage of fine bosoms, or something along those lines. So it would be a waste, if you did that. My disdain is tactile, isn't it? No, whatever. We can't all like everything, can we? Can't all like the same stuff. I don't hate this film. I just don't like it very much. So anyway, so there you are. They're reunited, but he still can't move about very well. That's why he's lying on the bed. So she's happy, and she's not talking about killing herself anymore. Give it time. Give it time. So Montoya gets back to his feet, and so they have a bit of swordplay. There you go. He stabs him a couple of times, but that's not going to stop him. So he suddenly has a burst of adrenaline, and he takes out Rugen. There we go, and he kills him. So his quest for vengeance is over. Now, shortage of perfect breasts in the world. Don't know. I don't know. There's quite a few. Anyway. Here is Humperdinck arrives and with his sword out, but he soon gives up, Of course, they're cowards, these baddies, aren't they? So they tie him up. Look, he gets out of bed, so we think he's coming back. His faculties are coming back, and they are a bit, but not much. So they tie him to a chair. There we go. Montoya arrives. He did threaten to. He wasn't going to kill him. By the way, did Wesley? He was going to, like maim him and take out his eyes and chop off his feet and his hands. I thought, crikey, this is a bit dark. And then he wasn't going to kill him though, but he was going to leave his ears so the people of the world or the town or whatever would see what a hideous creature he was and would make fun of him, and he could hear it, with his perfect ears. That's what we're going to do. But he don't do that anyway. So Fezzik arrives with 4 white horses. There are 4 horses, as Picard might say. So he arrives with those. Ain't got saddles on them though, but never mind. Can't have everything. And so she just throws herself out the window. It's like she's suicidal, isn't she? She just chucks herself out. If she goes, look, hey, and luckily he catches her. But then they jump out. Did he catch them as well? I don't know because we don't see. Come on, those lines from Wesley were amazing. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. They jump out. There you go. Did they land on the horses? Don't know. We just see them on the horses. They ride off into the sunset, and that was basically it. There we go. And they have a nice kiss, one of the best kisses in the world, blah, blah, blah. And that's the end of the story. Don't know what happened to Humperdinck. Did he become king? I don't know. Don't tell us. Did he chop off his hands and, and feet? I don't know. And gouge out his eyes? Don't know. But he's going his granddad anyway. And then Fred Savage says, "Will you read it to me again tomorrow?" And he says, "As you wish." That's supposed to make us think that he's Wesley grown up, aged. Obviously not. He's not. I don't know. Off he goes. And that's the end of the film. That's the end of the film. These are the credits. It's just showing bits. There we go, with the cast. So there we go. So that's the end of the film. Special appearance by Peter Falk as Peter Falk. Or as Columbo. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't like it. Sorry, Joshua. I don't like it. Don't like it. I watched it all the way to the end as well to see if there were an end credit scene, but no, there didn't, because they were a thing back then, weren't they? But you never know. You never know. So that's it. That's it for The Princess Bride. Wasn't it good? Yeah. One more thing. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. One more thing. That's what he should have said, didn't he? Like Homer Simpson doing the Columbo impersonation. And then coughing. No, he said, as you wish, because he loves his grandson. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. If you ever read the books, do not read the epilogue. Oh, wow, what happens in the epilogue? Just tell me. I'm not going to read it. Just tell me what they says in the epilogue. I don't care. I'm not going to read the book. But yeah, like I said, I don't hate it. I just don't like it. I don't understand why it's so beloved. It's not a terrible film. I just didn't like it. Oh, and one more thing. With Mrs. Columbo, who would go on to be captain of the USS Voyager. There we go. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't hate it. I put on the things, movies everybody loves that I hate. I don't hate any film, really. I don't think I do anyway. So I don't hate it. I just don't like it. And I don't understand why it's so beloved. I mean, there's a lot better, fantasy films out there, and or adventure films, or comedy films for that matter. But I don't know. There we go. What's this? Wesley and Buttercup are on the run for the rest of their lives from Humperdinck. Is that the epilogue? Oh, right, fair enough. So it's a bit like Quantum Leap then. They never got home. Oh, pardon me. And what's this one? The end credit scene should have been him arresting his grandson for murdering his unseen father. Yes. Well, I've just got that. Should have been Peter Falk arresting Fred Savage. Yes, it should. Yes, it should. That's fine. Folks are allowed to be wrong. Yes, I'm always wrong. I don't care. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. But I don't hate it. But anyway, it will be number one pick. There are other films I'm going to do next week. Joshua, you'll be happy to know, is going to be The Goonies. So I don't like that either. So I'll be trying. So funny you should mention that. Hang on, there we go. I always felt Stardust was a bit of a spiritual successor to The Princess Bride. That's another one that's on my list. I did the list today of films that I'm not keen on, and that people seem to like, and Stardust was on that list. So there we go. Another film I've never made it all the way through, so I'm gonna have to watch that all the way through. But that'll be, down the line of about 10 films I've dug out that I'm not a huge fan of. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. So that was my. Hang on, I know it's hilarious. Hang on. It's hilarious how many we don't share. All right. What does Gehenna mean? Oh, you're a Neil Gaiman fan. Is that all right? Okay. No, I'm not a fan of Neil Gaiman. I think he stole one of my ideas for a Doctor Who story, but whatever. That's another tale. Anyway. Right. So I'm going to leave it there because I've got to go over now to I don't know what time it is. It might have started, it might not. I don't know. If you go over to the podcast guys, they're having their live stream. Their Raw rant. So I'm going to go over there now and watch that because Daniel Davis is on, Moriarty from Star Trek: The Next Generation and Star Trek Picard. So anyway, so I'm gonna wish you good night, and thanks for joining in, Win Grace, and thanks Joshua. And thanks to anybody else. Anybody else said anything? Oh, hang on. Somebody said something on the legendary. I'm reading this off Rumble, by the way. The legendary Lee Kennedy helped found Motown. Lee Kennedy knew John Coltrane. The Beatles called Lee Kennedy on their phone. Every album they made, Jimi Hendrix would not be without Lee. Give Lee a chance. What are they talking about? No idea. I have no idea what they're talking about. That was weird. Anyway, that were on Rumble. Right, so I'm gonna leave it there. So next week is going to be The Goonies, another film I don't like, which I have seen all the way through once a long time ago. So I'm going to give it another go. Maybe I'll like it this time. Maybe I'll come on and I'll say I've changed my mind. I like this thing. The show's cancelled, but I don't think so. Right, so I'm going. So, boom. I haven't it started yet. Never mind. Expect more defense when we do the Goonies. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure you'll rise to the occasion, Joshua. So anyway, so it'll be at the same time next week, 9 p.m. British summertime, which is something else in American time. Right, we're going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.